Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Ramen Stand Podcast.
Ooh. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Just got
Let's do
that night vibes. We're recording super late at like almost 11 p.m. Everything's good and dandy. How you guys doing today?
Tired. It was a slow day, but we are here.
I feel
We're here.
I've driving.
Yeah, I
Cursed.
bet. But it's okay because we're here to talk about some good old anime, which makes everything better sometimes. Anyway, so for this episode, we're talking about JoJo Part 2, our thoughts and stuff like that. But before we get into it, we're going to talk about some anime news. So I didn't really get a whole lot of anime news, but there's a couple things that stood out to me. So the first thing is that apparently the old 90s anime Slam Dunk is getting a movie in 2022. Have you guys heard of Slam Dunk?
I have, yes.
Yeah, so basically, as you can probably tell from the title, Cole, Slam Dunk is a basketball anime. It's like a very old school, one of the more popular, well-known 90s anime. I don't really know a whole lot about it, but I know it's like a very popular one that came out in the 90s. But yeah, that's getting a movie, which is pretty tight. So the second thing that, which I'm pretty excited for, is that we got another trailer for Baki Son of Ogre, which is coming September 30th to Netflix worldwide, baby. I'm super excited. Love me some Baki, just testosterone to the max. And like, I'm really excited too, because the trailer showed like some really, really good animation, and like, which is good because I mean, Baki's like a fighting anime, so you want to have really good animation for that, you know? Because the past couple of seasons, like, it's been okay. Like the very first season that they uploaded onto Netflix had a lot of like pretty shitty CGI, but thankfully they fixed it in the third season. There's like no CGI, but still not amazing animation. But this season is looking really, really good in comparison, so I'm super fucking excited for that. Then the next thing, which is pretty tight, is that there's going to be a new Pokemon spin-off series. Well, actually, I think it's out now as of this recording, called Pokemon Evolutions, which is pretty much just like focusing on the different stories of the legendaries per region. So like they'll have an episode about the Kanto legendaries, the Johto legendaries, Hoenn, Sinnoh, etc., etc. And like the animation looks fucking beautiful. Like all these Pokemon spin-offs that have been coming out look amazing compared to the actual anime series. So I'm just like, man, they gotta fucking step that shit up.
Yeah, I've noticed the animations recently have been really, really sick. Especially for like newer animes coming out. So that's been pretty exciting.
Yeah, they've been stepping that shit up. And then the last thing that I have is that the creator of Promised Neverland, Posuka Demizu. Sorry if you're listening to this, creator of Promised Neverland. I'm sorry. Go aside. She is making a one-off manga sequel of Mushrooman BT, aka Cool Shock BT. And what's special about this is that this was a series that Hirohiko Araki, the creator of JoJo, made before creating JoJo. Yeah,
interesting.
It was just like a very short, like 6-chapter series that he created before JoJo, and it's getting a sequel by the creator of Promised Neverland, so that's pretty tight. But it's just a one shot. Yeah, better not fuck it up. But it's just a one shot. So for those who don't know what a one shot is, pretty much just like one chapter of something. That's pretty much what they did with like Bleach that I talked about last time. It was just like a one-shot chapter, or like a bunch of pages and stuff like that. So that's what she's doing for this. So, and now, do you guys have any anime news that you want to mention on the podcast before we start? Have you heard anything?
I have not. Honestly, I was thinking about the Pokemon Evolutions, but you got that already. So.
Took it out of her mouth.
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, then in that case, let's get started with our review of JoJo Part 2, Battle Tendency. And I gotta say, after rewatching it, I was telling Cole before we started, I forgot how fucking good JoJo Part 2 was. Holy shit.
I like this. I like Part 2 a lot better than Part 1. Not to say Part 1 was not good, but this was great.
Okay. You can say that.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Because honestly, when it comes to sequels, you know, there's always that saying of like, oh, the sequel isn't as good as the original. But like, Hirohiko Araki nailed it. Like, honestly, I think it's totally fine to say Part 2 is better than Part 1, because it just does everything so much better with the characters, the side characters especially, the music, the animation, everything about part 2 is just, in my opinion, and I feel like in most people's opinion, just significantly better than part 1. But part 1 was still good.
Yeah, I definitely noticed a lot more character development with the side characters here, and like I actually care about the side characters this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Smokey's my boy. He's so good.
Yeah.
Goddamn right. Smokey was tight. Okay. And quick disclaimer before we start talking about JoJo. Fuck Nazis.
Yes.
Fucking Nazis.
Nazis are bad. If you support Nazis or are a Nazi, go fuck yourself. With that being said, JoJo has got some pretty cool Nazis.
I was surprised, I will say, with the Nazis we had here.
Yeah, no, they were out of all the Nazis, they weren't as bad. They were okay.
Don't take it out of context.
Don't take it out of context, please. Nobody clip that. Okay, so let's talk about the show. So in episode 1, I kind of forgot my notes, but I pretty much remember the gist of it. In episode 1, pretty much starts with like Speedwagon, Speedwagon, he's an adult now. It takes place in 1938, I believe. He's like super old. Yeah, he's filthy rich, got his own company now. Like, goddamn, Speedwagon is fucking killing it. Making money, getting bitches. It's great.
Yeah, he's got that oil in Texas.
Yeah. He knows what's up. So
there you go.
So yeah, he goes to Mexico to visit Straits, who find some sort of like ancient ruins in Mexico, and they find then they find the fucking stone mask again, and there's just a shit ton of stone masks, and surrounded by is this fucking ancient Aztec man in carved in stone and shit. And then Straits is just like, I'm gonna be evil now, and kills everyone. And
that hurt. That hurt.
That did hurt. Yeah. And then he attacks fucking Speedwagon, takes the stone mask, and becomes a vampire. It's like, Straits, why? No, not Speedwagon. We love him.
Speedwagon's the boy.
He is the boy. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like Speedwagon was a lot better in part 2 than part 1. Honestly.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, he was definitely more of the hype man. But yeah, that happens, and then we fucking meet Smokey, just a little black boy who's, doing the stealing. Unfortunately, living in the slums,
pinching the wallets.
Yeah, and then he gets caught by some cops who are very, very racist. Which I gotta say, the racism is definitely a lot more apparent in the manga of part 2. Like they just straight up just like, I hate black people in the manga.
Jesus.
But in the anime, they're a little bit more subtle about it. Still, obvious racism.
Very accurate for its time, though.
Yeah. Takes place in the 30s. Yeah, it makes sense. And then, before that, Smokey stole a wallet from some really, really big-looking main character kind of guy. Not sure who that is. And then the dude shows up, just like, hey, this is my friend. And then he beats them with the Hamon powers from part 1. And we get our main character of part 2, Joseph Joestar, the grandson of Jonathan Joestar. Which, how do you feel about that, Kai, when you heard that Joseph was the grandson and not the direct son of Jonathan?
I figured it made sense based off how part 1 ended. Mm-hmm. But I did get a little confused when they're like, oh yeah, his father couldn't use the Hammond, but he could. But I was like, isn't like he's technically not really the blood, is he? I was a little confused, but
well, it was more that he didn't train in it, really.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so then Joseph and Smokey become friends, and we see Edina again. She's just a really old lady, just very wholesome old lady.
Irina's a G, bro.
Oh yeah, she was a G. Like later in the episode when they're at the restaurant, and then there's that one dude just being an asshole, obviously being racist towards Smokey, and then Irina's just like, kick his ass, Joseph, but don't bother the customers. I'm just like, god damn, Irina, all right, she's a fucking gangster now. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And I gotta love Joseph's fucking thing where he like says the person's line before they're about to say it, and then they say it.
And then they actually say it.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
What?
Nani?
He knew. Nani? Yeah. And then that happens, and then they learn that Speedwagon is supposedly dead. Rip my boy. And then later in the episode, at the end of the episode, Smokey and JoJo are at some bar talking about bra sizes, and then JoJo sees Straits, goes outside and fucking pulls out a goddamn Tommy gun. Holy shit.
I thought that was very fitting for 30s New York.
Oh, 100%. That I feel like that moment 100% solidifies just how different Joseph is than Jonathan.
Compared to Jonathan.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
He's
Oh,
built
yeah.
different.
And honestly, that's what I really like about JoJo is that like most of these characters are completely different from the previous character. Like Jonathan is, you know, like a very just like stereotypical good guy, gentleman dude, and then Joseph is just like this goofy trickster kind of guy who's just very
bastard
lovable.
man that everyone
Yeah,
loves.
And then I'm not gonna say what the person for part 3 is like, but he is completely different from Jonathan and Joseph. 100%. And then so episode 2 is the JoJo versus Straits fight, and like probably my favorite aspect about this fight is like Joseph is basically fighting Dio, you know? He's pretty much just fighting a villain who's like was on Dio's level, and he pretty much just surpasses him and beats him. And then like it makes us think about how much he's grown in comparison to Jonathan, who struggled with Dio's laser beams, and then Joseph is easily able to counter them. It pretty much shows like the evolution of this character and stuff like that, which is cool. And then my favorite part besides the Tommy gun shit is like how he uses a grenade to set off multiple grenades. I like that.
Yeah,
That's some
that
big
was
brain shit.
lit.
Yeah. And then we get
Literally.
the fucking
What a gun.
amazing opening. How do you guys feel about this opening? I fucking love it.
I like this opening a lot.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably one of the best openings. Yeah, I agree. It's so fucking good. So upbeat. It's great. I love it. The colors are nice. So eventually, Joseph beats Straits, and Straits tells him about the Pillarmen, and then we immediately cut to the Nazis in Mexico. And then we meet the best Nazi, again, don't take that out of context, please, Stroheim, who has captured Speedwagon and wants to interrogate him about the Pillarmen, who they named Santana, and they sacrifice a bunch of people to wake him up, which that was a pretty fucking brutal scene. It was like, all right, we're going to sacrifice you. Who wants to live and who wants to die? Yeesh. And then
I
Joseph
thought that
goes
was
to Mexico.
like pretty commendable, at least for like the context, you know?
Yeah.
Because then
definitely.
our boy offers himself up, and he's like, I like you. I like your courage. Kill everyone else.
But how do you guys feel about Stroheim before we get to know him more? Like when we first were introduced to him.
I mean, like I said, like a fucking Nazi, yes,
Mm-hmm,
but yeah, he's got some morality to him.
Yeah,
But-
he definitely grows on us later.
Oh yeah,
But right now, he can go fuck himself.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
So
a
then-
fucking asshole.
Yeah, he was, yeah. And then episode 3, Joseph fights and beats a random assassin with a cactus, which that was stupid. Like he literally just like sees this cactus exploding, and he's like, oh, what's this going on? It's so fucking stupid. Just
Very
waste of time.
in character, though. Very.
Yeah, very in character. Very in character. And then Santana wakes up and easily kills a vampire by just consuming it with his flesh. Like that was... The
That
Pillar Men are
was-
weird.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Pillar Men are weird. They're very weird people.
They are indeed.
And then Joseph tries to get inside the facility by dressing up as a girl, but
My
fails.
favorite part.
He fails, but manages to beat the guards and get in. Yeah, that was a weird part. How'd you feel about that guy?
I too also thought it was very in character.
makes
So
sense.
it rolled really well with me.
Yeah.
I also
yeah.
appreciate how he beat the shit out of him.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
You see why he's one of my favorite JoJo's now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joseph is great. Honestly, like I feel like if they continued with Joseph, it would be more interesting than if they continued with Jonathan. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because Jonathan's more one note in comparison. And then Santana escapes the chamber and starts killing the soldiers by getting inside one of the soldiers. That was fucking weird.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to remember that.
yeah. And then Joseph sneaks in, and then we get JoJo versus Santana. And I like how the fight begins with him just sort of fucking around, like touching his nose, be like, "Oh, I got you." Like, all right, what, Joseph? What the fuck? And then later in the fight, near the end of the fight, Santana possesses Stroheim, and Stroheim sacrifices himself for the motherland and tells JoJo that there are 3 other Pillar Men, and then JoJo barely beats Santana and goes to Rome to train for the upcoming battle. So yeah, there's fucking 3 more Pillar Men that are strong as shit, because of course there is. And then in episode 5, after some fine dining, JoJo meets Caesar, aka Bubble Buddy, like I like to call him, a womanizer who's the grandson of Zeppeli from part 1. How you guys feel about Caesar? What do you think about him?
I like him. He's got awesome fucking hair.
Oh yeah,
That's for sure.
I love that's the first thing you say. Oh, his hair's nice.
He's definitely a good I wouldn't want to say opposite of JoJo, but
A foil,
He's a good
Definitely
rival
fits.
character. He's a good rival character, you know?
yeah,
Like,
like
he's-
kind of like his antithesis almost.
Yeah, he's definitely way better than the previous Zeppeli, his grandfather.
Oh yeah.
Like yeah,
I
as we said, like the side characters in part 2 are so much better than the side characters in part 1, because the part 1 side characters, they just showed up out of nowhere and just like, all right, I'm dead now. Like the fucking Thundercross split attack dude literally just showed up for one episode, died. I'm like, all right. Fuck him, I guess. And then at first they absolutely despise each other and have a little fight, and then our good German boy Mark takes them to an excavation site that has 3 other pillarmen.
You just remind me about
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mark, the wholesome Nazi.
Yeah, the one Nazi I actually like.
God.
And then one of the pillarmen named Wamu, the best one, wakes up killing the soldiers and wakes up the other pillarmen named Essie, Desi, and Cars. And then, if you guys didn't realize, especially Kai, these guys are named after bands. This is like when JoJo really starts naming people after bands. So Essie Desi is named after AC/DC. Cars is named after the band The Cars. And Wamu is named after the band Wham.
Wham!
That makes
Wham.
sense. I was
Yeah.
wondering why.
Yeah, so this is when JoJo really starts to like name their characters or their abilities after like famous songs or bands and stuff like that. And then JoJo and everyone run to the Pillarmen, and the Pillarmen kill Mark by just walking past him. They're so strong that they just walk past a man and he gets split in half. Holy
I did
shit.
think that was a bit much. Like, how fucking overpowered are these guys?
They're so ripped. It just takes a nudge and you're dead. And then
Yeah.
the Pillarmen talk about how they want to find the Redstone of Asia to greatly enhance their powers and become the ultimate beings. And then we get the most iconic pose in all of JoJo with fucking Caesar putting his hand on his face. Just like, that is like, when you think of JoJo and poses, that is the most iconic one. Like, I see a lot of anime reference JoJo and use that pose from that episode, that moment.
100%.
And I just love how they're just like, we're gonna avenge Mark, and then they just fucking pose. It's like, what are you doing? And then we get, in the next episode, we get Caesar versus Wamu. Wamu easily defeats Caesar's bubbles, which that's a weird power. Just fucking bubbles. Bubbles. That's why he's Bubble Buddy. And then we get JoJo versus Wamu, and he uses new Cracker Volley weapon. And then I love how later in the fight, after JoJo kind of gets fucked up, he just sort of pretends to play dead. Like anytime Wamu would look back, you see JoJo just on the floor dead, and then slowly just trying to crawl up to the fucking conveyor belt. I love that shit. That was funny.
Hey, when you're all out of moves, you just gotta play dead.
Yeah, I gotta play the oh yeah, I forgot about that. The JoJo secret technique where Joseph just runs away.
Yeah, just
Yeah, there you go. Or that. One of
Yeah,
the
the
two.
runaway. Yeah. And then JoJo tricks, and then later in the fight, JoJo tricks Wamu into letting him live to get stronger for another fight. But Wamu and AC/DC stick poison wedding rings into him to make sure he keeps the agreement. What a great metaphor for marriage. It's just a fucking poison.
I
in
thought
your
that was
throat.
pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. And then Caesar gains some respect for JoJo after that. So then Caesar, in the next episode, Caesar and JoJo, Caesar teaches JoJo how to do the Dairy Queen blizzard flip with the water. And then JoJo talks about how much he hates labor and effort, which, gotta love that. Definitely relate to that.
Oh yeah.
And then JoJo and Caesar go to Venice to meet Caesar's master, Lisa to train them for 1 month, and JoJo has to wear a dog brace.
she's.
What do you guys think of Lisa? Oh, yes.
I think
She's
you
tight.
already know. You already know, DJ. From when you made me watch it, you remember how I feel.
Yeah, no, Lisa,
Strong
she's
female character. Hell yeah.
God damn, gotta love it. Yeah, and then Lisa, she's really awesome. It's very unfortunate that, as we'll see later, she doesn't really get a whole lot to do.
Yeah.
She's so beautiful.
Yeah. And then JoJo and Caesar start training. They do the help climb pillar. JoJo learns how to control his Hamon better and starts climbing, but during the climb, he hits a switch that causes a sharp stream of oil to shoot out. And I love how during that, when like Caesar was testing to see how sharp it is, he just pulls out a pen from out of nowhere. Like, why the fuck do you just have a pen on you like that?
Gotta take notes, you know.
Yeah, gotta take notes. You never know.
1930s, bro. What else?
That
They
is
can't
true.
pull out their phones to type shit on.
That's true, yeah. Let me pull out my
Getting
phone real
ready
quick.
to
And then eventually JoJo and Caesar make it with 26 days left till the ring dissolves. And then Messina and Loggins spend the next 3 weeks training JoJo and Caesar. And then the episode ends with 1 week until the ring dissolves. So then the next episode, episode 8, Cars and AC/DC talk about the Redstone of Asia. They have one, but it's not strong enough to unlock their full potential to reach the next step of evolution. And then Lisa is the one with the Redstone of Asia. And then we also meet Susie Q, just a cute little nurse. What do you guys think of Susie Q?
She's cute. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of
she's
like
cute.
Aaron in like season 1.
Yeah, but Susie Q, I feel like I like her personality more. Like Susie Q is someone I'd more want to like hang out with. I mean, it's just too wholesome, you know? You know what I mean?
Too pure, cannot be.
Yeah, she's too
touched.
pure.
Should not be touched.
No. Yeah, definitely. And then JoJo has the smart idea to smash the stone, but Lisa says no, which is to me the dumbest shit and could have saved so many problems if they just broke the Redstone of Asia. Like there was no reason to keep that shit. But I digress, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty. I can't, JoJo. I can't.
It's too pretty.
Also, I'm your mother, but you're not gonna know that till like the end of the show.
Oh god. Spoilers.
Oh wait, yeah, I probably should have said that earlier in this.
Censor.
I'll put that in. Spoiler alert for anybody who wasn't watching JoJo Part 2. Go watch that before listening to this podcast. Anyway, so JoJo and Caesar have to fight 1v1 against Loggins and Messina for the final test. And then when JoJo goes to fight Loggins, he finds him dead and AC/DC fucking killed him. Just fucking kicked him right in the chest. God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it. And then AC/DC says he came to Venice for the Redstone. And then we get JoJo versus AC/DC, which I pretty much like to sum this battle up into the no you big brain plays. That's pretty much what this fight is.
Pretty much.
Just like, I just did this strategic move. No you. Big brain plays. Like, oh shit, all right. And then I love how when JoJo cuts off AC/DC's arm, he just immediately starts crying as a way to like relieve the stress. How'd you feel about that, Kai, when you just saw AC/DC just fucking bawl?
I did think that was a bit out of character, but like, I get it. You gotta cry sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, when you fucking lose your arm, you just gotta cry.
You lose a
Especially
limb,
then.
just fucking cry it out, bro. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be
Just
alright
walk it
later.
off,
You know
walk
what
it
I'm saying?
off.
Just walk it off. Yeah. And then eventually JoJo beats AC/DC and gets one of the antidotes. And then this is the dumbest shit ever. The episode ends with AC/DC's brain on JoJo's back, and he has no ideas on his back. He's just like, "Oh, man, my back feels kind of heavy. Oh, what's going on?" Just doesn't bother to check his back. Like for me, anytime my body feels off, I immediately like check myself. Like I don't know how the fuck you
But
wouldn't
he's
check.
JoJo.
Yeah, it's true. He's JoJo. It's an anime. gotta keep the thing going. Oh well. Anyway, in episode 9, JoJo and Susie Q have a little moment. Then JoJo goes to see Lisa and accidentally pulls some incest without realizing it.
Oh god. Oh god.
Nice. And then Susie Q gets possessed by the slimy remains of AC/DC, who took the Redstone of Asia and sent it via postal boat to the other Pillarmen. And then JoJo
mailed that shit. You fucking
yeah.
I could not believe that.
Hey, just
You fucking
FedEx.
sent it through the USPS, bro. That's just gonna get lost.
just mailed a
I
fucking
mean-
ancient stone.
shit would have ended way
Jesus.
faster, but it didn't get lost.
That is true.
Yeah.
Just fucking put that shit on Craigslist.
Like, hey, I found this shiny stone.
Anybody want it? $10? Don't want it anymore. Taking up space. Anyway, JoJo and Caesar free Susie Q, and AC/DC dies by the sun.
He goes shopping.
And then Team JoJo learns that the stone is heading towards Switzerland, where Cars and Wamu are at, and they head over. And then Cars is at Switzerland and sees a dog, but about to get run over by a reckless driver, but he kills the driver, saving the dog.
Hell
which
yeah.
very nice of Cars, but it's also
Good
really
trade.
out of character for Cars it just feels off, you know, like what we know about him. Like, because
Yeah.
the show never really explains why he cares at all about nature, you know. I guess it's just like he respects it, but again, they never really like explain why he was willing to save the dog or save the plants, like we'll see later in the episode. But I guess he just respects nature.
DJ. You don't get it.
Yeah, you're right. It's a Gemini thing. I wouldn't understand. God, fuck anybody who says that unironically. Oh my God.
Christ.
I'm
Jesus.
sorry. I just killed everyone that you love. I'm such a Gemini.
I'm such a Sagittarius. Oh my God. And then they eventually make it to Switzerland and pass by some motherfucking Nazis who find the package containing the redstone, and the Nazis want to talk to Team JoJo about what's going on. And
Which is
at night,
good for them.
yeah, good for them. Good for
Well,
them.
for-
At night, Cars arrives at the lodge where Team JoJo is and the Nazis are. He starts attacking, but is stopped by fucking Stroheim, who's now a freaking cyborg.
He was so
I
cool.
thought that was wild. Like,
Yeah, that was wild.
He just like
All thanks to the
busts
motherland,
shit out.
baby. German science is the greatest in the world. What can I say? In the 1930s, that shit was pog.
God.
And then Stroheim uses his body to like, yeah, they pretty much made him like twice as strong as Santana, that's insane. He's basically way stronger than Dio at this point. And he fights Cars, but Cars is obviously way stronger than Santana and easily takes down Stroheim, then takes the stone. And then Stroheim gets the stone away from Cars, and both Cars and JoJo race to get it. JoJo eventually gets the stone and is saved by Caesar. While Cars is falling, he sees some flowers and moves out of the way to not destroy them, which is very nice of him. Very nice of him. Which is weird, but very nice of him. And he just fucking laughs maniacally out of nowhere. I'm like, these pillar men are pretty fucking weird.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's what being
Oh, yeah.
cased in stone does to you, I guess.
That's true. 2,000 years,
2,000
baby.
years? That'd be fucking weird too.
Yeah, makes you a weirdo.
Be
Which,
all-
okay, probably a good time to talk about. What do you guys think of the Pillarmen as villains compared to Dio?
I feel like Dio definitely had more of like the typical villainous arc that we see. But with these guys, it's just a fucking doozy, you know?
Yeah.
They've been stuck in stone for 2,000 years, so I can't blame them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, for me, the Pillarmen are really, really cool, but I think, for me personally, I think Dio was the better villain overall, you know? Like,
I think so too, yeah.
I mean, out of the three, Wamu was definitely the best, but Cars and AC/DC, they had very, especially Cars too, like his motivations were very super basic and like, I don't know, like he wasn't nearly as charismatic as Dio was. Like he was pretty stereotypical villain too, but Dio was like very over the top about it, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Pillarmen are really, really cool though. What about you, Cole? What do you think of the Pillarmen
When I like
as a whole?
like after I got to know them a bit, my first thought was like, man, these guys are really the Three Stooges with the way
Yeah.
they act.
Fair.
Because like we have like a genius, right, and then the other two are just there, like doing their own thing, being all funny and I guess honorable.
Just there
That's
for the
true.
ride.
Yeah, you got the genius, the funny man, and the honorable dude. Okay, which one is your favorite and least favorite Pillarman? How would you rank them? For me, it would go from best to worst. Wamu as the best, then Cars, then AC/DC as the worst. For me.
Ooh. I think for me it would be Cars, Wamu, and then AC/DC.
Okay, as like Cars is the best and
Yeah, Cars is
AC/DC is the
best.
worst. Okay, why do you say that?
Because I like how, like, Cars is just, like, he cares about nature and shit, but does not give a shit about humans at all.
Yeah.
And, like, I respect that sentiment, you know? And then
sense. What about
Wamu's
you?
just fucking, just OP as fuck. And then AC/DC is just kind of there. And he also
AC/DC 's
gets
kinda
fucked up
there.
first, so.
Yeah, so kind of losing points there.
Exactly.
What about you, Cole? How would you rank the Pillarmen?
Kind of the same way you did. I did enjoy Wamu the most,
Mm-hmm.
just because you know he's so cool.
Yeah.
And then it goes AC/DC and then Cars. Mostly
Oh,
'cause
Cars is at
just,
the
like,
bottom.
You know, not as charming.
That's true.
the,
That's true.
That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah. And like, I love their fucking Awakening theme that plays anytime
yeah.
they do some epic shit. God, it's such a meme song, but it's so good too. Like, yeah, the music in JoJo Part 2 is just amazing. Like, there's a lot more for me, there's a lot more memorable songs than there were in part 1. Like, other than the opening of part 1, there's not really any songs that I'm just like, oh, that was good. You know, nothing stood out to me.
Yeah, nothing.
But
that
part
you
2,
would
there's a
play
few.
again.
Yeah, part 2, there's a few songs that I'm just like, I'd listen to that again.
Yeah,
So
I'm
then,
doing it right now. No.
yeah, oh hell yeah! And then next episode, we learn about Caesar's family of 5, because Italy, you know, they fucking. Caesar's dad. Yeah, they say fucking. Caesar's dad left out of nowhere when he was 10 to get some milk, of course. And Caesar becomes very.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. Caesar becomes very violent and hated his father for years. And then when he was 16, he found his dad and wanted to kill him. He stopped at the excavation site with the Pillarmen, and the Pillarmen tried to capture Caesar, but his dad saved him and got eaten instead. And Caesar's dad, Mario, because of course his name's fucking Mario, was trying to find a way to destroy the Pillarmen and died not knowing he was talking to Caesar, which, god damn, that's some sad shit. Yeah. That's fucked. But now Caesar has some respect for his family, which is good. And then Caesar eventually finds Wamu at the entrance of the abandoned hotel that they find. And they sort of him and Caesar and JoJo sort of have like a dispute about whether they should go into the mansion and just fucking Leroy Jenkins that shit or not. But JoJo's like, we should wait. And then Caesar's like, no, fuck that shit. I want to fight him. And then they sort of fight, and then Caesar goes on his own. And then we get Caesar versus Wamu, which this was a really fucking cool fight. Probably like one of the best fights in this part 2. It was very well animated. And then Caesar gets the upper hand and almost beats Wamu, but Wamu hits Caesar point blank with his fucking holy sandstorm. And then Caesar's pretty much all fucked up and on his last leg, so he uses the last of his Hamon to take the antidote safely to JoJo with a fucking blood bubble. And then Caesar dies by a stone conveniently shaped like a cross.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, what? How?
But yeah, how do you guys, other than that meme moment of fucking cross death, how do you guys feel about Caesar's death? He's dead. We're not even done with the show yet. There's still like 8 more episodes or something like that.
I was pretty sad.
Yeah.
He grew on me.
Definitely. Yeah, what about you, Cole? How did you feel about Caesar overall? I don't think I got your opinions on him.
When I first saw it, I was like, no, Caesar!
Yep.
And then like the second time, like, it's fine.
I mean, yeah. The more you watch it, the less effect it has. But it's still just like,
I'm
oh,
less
my boy.
affected by it now. I've gotten over it. I've processed his cross death.
Yeah, his fucking meme death. And then, like in all anime, JoJo and Lisa show up at the last moment to find Caesar dead, and they cry. And I love how JoJo's just like, Lisa, your cigarette's backwards, and then she fucking starts bawling.
Yeah, she just fucking stops. That got turned into a meme, you know?
Oh, I bet. Of course. And then in the next episode, JoJo and Lisa go deeper into the hotel, and they come across a vampire minion. Lisa easily beats it, because she's fucking badass with her scarf made of fucking beetles. And then JoJo and Lisa find Wamu along with 100 vampire warriors and cars. Lisa propose a one-on-one battle against them and the Pillarmen for the Redstone of Asia. JoJo goes to retrieve the Redstone and finds a photo of Erina, Speedwagon, and Straits carrying a baby from 50 years ago. And then JoJo asks Lisa about her past. And that baby that Erina saved was Lisa, who was raised by Straits. How did you... Oh.
That was
Jesus Christ. I'll put that in the video.
Please do.
But yeah, Kai, how did you feel about that when you learned that Lisa was that baby that Erina had at the end of part 1?
That was very mindfucky. Because to be honest with you, I thought the baby was a boy.
Yeah, me too.
I don't blame you. Yeah, I don't blame you.
But shit.
Yeah, she's an old bitch. Yeah, it makes sense.
She is an old bitch.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's 50 years
she doesn't
ago.
Look like it though.
Exactly.
But that's the power of Hamon. It makes you younger the more you use it. So yeah, then we get JoJo versus Wamu in a fucking vampire gladiator chariot death match.
That was weird.
And then
I thought that was yeah.
Yeah, it was weird but cool at the same time. Like,
yeah.
when you think of Wamu, don't really expect that. You thought it would be like a hand-to-hand fight to the death, you know? Now like fucking, let's ride horses.
Yeah. Vampire fucking horses. What the fuck?
Vampire horses. And then JoJo talks about how he won't take the antidote until he beats Wamu as a promise to Caesar. And then fucking JoJo puts on Caesar's headband like he did in the opening. God damn. Love that shit. And then it's just a bunch of JoJo versus Wamu. And then Wamu uses his final mode, Perfect Storm, to like sense JoJo with his wind shit. And then JoJo eventually beats Wamu using Caesar's headband. And then they have a bro moment before Wamu dies. God, honestly... Wamu's great.
Yeah, definitely very gentlemanly like.
Yeah, he's just like a very noble warrior, you know, respects the strong. Love that shit. And then we get the most epic battle, Cars versus Lisa. And then Cars pulls off his fucking do-rag, showing his beautiful purple hair. So nice, keeps it nice and kempt. And then Cars easily takes down Lisa, and the vampires gang up on JoJo. But Stroheim shows up just in time.
Of course.
Gotta love them Nazis. And then the weirdest part is how Speedwagon and Smokey show up too. I'm just like, why?
Yeah, I thought it was when Smokey pulled up. I was like, really? You're here?
Yeah, like Speedwagon makes a little bit more sense, but Smokey, what are you doing?
That's my boy
support.
though.
Yeah, no, he's a real one. He's a real one. Yeah, he's emotional support. He really was. Yeah. And then Cars uses Lisa to trap JoJo. I love how he fucking puts a rope on her feet and then just starts playing guitar on her legs. Like, what the fuck?
I thought that was odd.
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
he
telling
had a
you,
chance.
yeah,
I
he had a
would've taken
chance,
it,
but
man.
yeah, these Pillar Men. At one moment they're like these very sadistic evil bastards, and the next moment they're goofy as fuck.
Well, what do I say?
Gotta love
I
it,
mean,
though.
Three Stooges.
Yeah, Three Stooges. Damn right. And then we get JoJo versus Cars. JoJo takes down Cars, and the Nazis use the ultraviolet lights to finish him off. Meanwhile, Speedwagon talks about Lisa's past for some reason. And then we learn that Lisa's real name is Elizabeth, who was raised by straights. She married Jonathan and Enina's son, George Joestar II, and had Joseph Joestar. And then talks about how George was a part of the World War I as a fighter pilot for the British Royal Flying Corps. And then sometime later, George Joestar comes across one of Dio's vampire minions that escaped pretending to be a part of the Royal Flying Corps, and he unfortunately kills George. And then the best part is how Lisa, as soon as she heard this, immediately went down there and fucking killed that vampire, no hesitation. Gotta love that bitch. She is awesome. Plays no games. I love Lisa. She's great. And then, which is kind of weird now that I think about it, with George. It's very interesting how they just sort of like skipped his story and then just went straight to Joseph instead of like sort of diving more on him, you know. But I mean, I guess, you know, he's a normal dude, so not really much to do with him. Which I mean, I guess is good in a way that like at least he got to live a normal life for a little bit, you know, until the fucking vampire showed up.
I mean, to be fair, he was named George, and that does not follow the whole JoJo's thing.
That is true. They fucked up.
That's why I didn't get Ramon. He just
Jonathan,
did
you
not
fucked up.
get named Joe.
You didn't keep up the trend. You fucked up.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
What's actually interesting too is that they actually did make a spin-off story about George Joestar, because a long time ago, Hirohiko Araki, not too long after Part 5 came out, like the manga when it first came out, he like sort of did this thing where he like challenged a bunch of artists, like well-known mangakas, to make their own spin-offs of different JoJo characters in the different parts. Like they made different spin-offs for Part 5, they made Part 4 spin-offs, and then somebody did like a spin-off of George Joestar, which is pretty cool. None of them are canon, but they're interesting stories to read. And then so back to the story of Part 2. Lisa kills the military men, and she's now wanted by the world government in England. And Speedwagon helps her out getting out of England, and then JoJo is left behind while Erina raises Joseph. And then back to the present, the Nazis shoot an ultraviolet cannon at Cars, but Cars was wearing the stone mask carrying the red stone of Asia, and now he becomes the ultimate life form. Oh shit. And then, Kai, you probably didn't see this, but in this episode, we get the sound effect opening, where they just add a bunch of sound effects to the opening.
I did see a bit of that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. something neat. But in the next parts, they'll like really add a bunch of really cool shit to the end of the openings. So definitely keep a lookout for that. So then later in the episode, Cars turns his fucking hand into a squirrel that goes and eats another squirrel, then attacks other people. What the fuck?
That was very weird.
Yeah, that was very weird. Which, funny enough, that was like my very first clip that I ever saw of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure before I started getting into it. And I'm just like, it's so weird too, because like, imagine watching that out of context for the first time. Cars isn't talking at all, and then he just whips out his hand and it just transforms into a squirrel, and then just like starts eating another squirrel, and then eating everybody else, eating this fucking Nazi robot dude. I'm like, what is this show? What is going on?
Mm-hmm. And that's how DJ got into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Goddamn right. And then the sunlight comes, and everyone's excited for Cars to burn away because he's a vampire. They burn from the sunlight. Mm-hmm. But this fucker just fucking whips out his hands and embraces the sunlight, and he's like, oh shit. And then Speedwagon just starts shitting his pants. Just like, oh, we're fucked. Let's get out of here. We're all gonna die. And then JoJo pulls off the ultimate technique, the Joestar family runaway. Just like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. Fuck this shit.
Favorite character.
Goddamn right. And then Cars goes to kill JoJo as celebration for his new powers. JoJo attacks Cars with a fucking attack airplane and plans to plunge Cars into a volcano. Which, I mean, hey, it's one way to kill a guy. If it works, yeah.
It works.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, in the fucking airplane, Joseph gets attacked by piranhas and a goddamn octopus, and he just slams the plane into Cars. Like, God, that's just crazy times for Joseph. He's not having a good time. And then Cars tries to escape, but Stroheim comes to help. Gotta love them Nazis, man.
Oh, them Nazi robots.
Yeah,
always
Nazi
coming
robots.
in clutch.
Mm-hmm. Goddamn right. And then we sort of, at the next episode, we get it begins with Cars' flashback where he dreamed of living among the other people who could live in the sun. So he invented the stone mask. Yeah, Cars is the person who invented the stone mask that started everything and all this shit.
That bastard.
Yeah, he's the reason. Not Dio, it was Cars. Then his people live underground and feared the stone mask Cars created and decided to kill him, but Cars killed all of his people, including his parents. God, what an edgy boy.
Yeah.
Edgelord.
Probably was playing fucking Linkin Park the whole time. Crawl! And then Cars burns alive in the lava and the day is saved. Nope. Cars slices off Joseph's hand and comes back in a heat-resistant armor. How'd you feel about that moment, Kai, when Cars fucking sliced off Joseph's hand?
I was mad. I was like, really?
Mm-hmm.
You went into lava.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
Yeah, no, he's the ultimate life form. He can do whatever he wants. And fucking, speaking of doing whatever he wants, Cars has Haman now. Like, goddamn. This dude is too powerful.
He cannot get rid of him. He's like fucking roaches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then near the end of the fight, JoJo accepts his death, but then uses the Deus Ex Machina Redstone of Asia on Cars. Mm-hmm. And the fucking volcano shoots them up into the sky, the Earth's atmosphere, and Cars tries to escape, but JoJo's decapitated arm comes and just like grips Cars by the neck, and he's like, what the fuck?
That's the part that took it from me. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, that was a little weird. And then Cars flies off into space, and then I love how like JoJo just pretends like he totally planned this, but he's just like, no, I'm just gonna pretend like I planned this just to piss off Cars as much as I can. I love that. And then unfortunately, Joseph Joestar on February 28th, 1938 has died. Our boy, he's totally dead. I can't believe it.
Totally dead.
Yep,
totally fucking dead.
And then we get Cars freezing in space, and he probably received, this is probably like the worst death in my opinion in all of JoJo for main villains, where he doesn't even die. He just like becomes another statue just floating in space, just stops thinking, like wishing for death. I'm like, god damn, that is pretty brutal.
He'd be bored as fuck.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do in space. But oh well, Cars is an asshole anyway. Yeah. And then 2 months later, everyone mourns Joseph's death, but JoJo just casually shows up to his funeral like, who died? And then, yeah,
Yo, crying?
Joseph is alive. Yo, crying? What's going on? And then JoJo gets a new robotic arm thanks to Stroheim. Gotta love him. Gotta love my man. And now JoJo,
Nazis.
yeah, gotta love them Nazis. Disclaimer, fuck Nazis. And then JoJo and Suzy Q are now married, which is nice. And then at the end of the episode, we get the stereotypical "Where are they now?" segment, where Lisa finally tells JoJo that she's his mom and eventually marries a Hollywood screenwriter in 1948. Good of her. Good of her. Moving on. Lucky bastard. God damn it. And then a very wholesome but sad moment is Erina Joestar died peacefully in 1950 at the age of 89, I think, surrounded by her loved ones, which is very nice. And like honestly,
She deserves
hearing
a
that,
peaceful death.
yeah, she does. Like hearing this sort of like makes me remember like one of the things that I love about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, sort of like the passage of time. Like we're really seeing these characters sort of like grow old and like watching their lives flash, you know. It's like it's like bittersweet, you know, feeling whenever stuff like this happens with like characters from the previous part being super old and like eventually dies. Like, I grew up with these guys, they're great. It's so sad to see them go. And then Speedwagon continued being a fucking Chad, but died of a heart attack in 1952. And unfortunately, he remained single. God damn it. God damn it.
He was too busy rolling dough.
That is true. That is true. He was too much being a G. And then our boy Smokey became the first black mayor in his home state of Georgia. Good for him.
Yeah.
I was so proud.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
Very proud of him. And then, speaking of our boy, Stroheim died in 1943 during some battle while talking about how great German
Some
science
battle.
was. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember what battle it was. He died.
He's just dead.
But yeah, he's just dead. But yeah, man, all these side characters, so good, so much better than the side characters in part one, like
For
immensely.
real.
And then at the end of the episode, in the year 1987, Joseph goes to visit his daughter in Tokyo, and he talks about how much he hates the Japanese. Like when he walked the next time, I was like, "Hey, are you Japanese?" Like, "Yeah, I am." Kicks him in the leg. Fuck the Japanese.
Yeah, that was like the biggest twist. Like, he ends up being a racist. Bro.
He's like, "Whoa, Joseph, all right." But he loves his Walkman, and then he just plays the opening song to part 3. And then Kai, I don't know if you saw this, that there was a teaser for part 3 that showed the main character.
Ooh, I did not see that.
Yeah, at the end of the credits there was a teaser for part 3, but I mean, unfortunately, it's totally fine because like one thing that Dare Production does is that they're very faithful to the manga of how they adapt it, because in part 1 and part 2 they would tease the next parts. Like at the end of part 1 they teased part 2 with the Pillarman Santana, and then part 2 in the manga he teased part 3 with the next main character. But it kind of sucks how they didn't continue with that. Like it would have been cool if at the end of part 3 they teased, oh, what's coming next with part 4, but they don't really do that, which kind of sucks. But yeah, they sort of teased what's coming up next for part 3. So definitely, Kai, I would recommend checking that out real quick. Just like, actually, hold up, let me look it up real quick just to make sure there's gonna be no spoilers when you search it up. Okay, yeah, never mind. Don't look it up.
Okay.
And then yeah, I'm not gonna spoil what happens if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, there's some crazy shit that kind of Okay, so yeah, part 2 is over. So what are y'all's overall thoughts of part 2?
I liked it a lot.
My favorite.
Oh yeah.
You
Definitely
liked it way
really
more than
good.
part 1?
I think so. Yeah. Can't
Yeah,
count.
no. Yeah, part 2 was definitely just a complete successor to part 1 in every way, in my opinion. Like, part 1 was good, but part 2, Jesus fucking Christ.
God, Cole.
Part 1 was really good, but part 2 is just so much better. And I feel like part 2 is when JoJo really starts to get quote unquote bizarre, you know?
Yeah, it definitely gets weird. Way more weird.
Oh, and it's gonna get even weirder. I would
Just
say part
you
3
wait.
part 3 isn't as weird as part 2. Would you say that, Cole? Do you think part 3 wasn't nearly as weird?
Well, I mean, in terms of like randomness, yeah, but in terms of like weird stuff that goes on, part 3 is also one of my favorients.
Yeah,
And
part 3 is great.
there's definitely a weird part. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I 100% know what you're talking about.
you know.
Yeah. So what are y'all's favorite parts? What are y'all's favorite like thing about part 2? Like, what was like a favorite moment or just like specific thing that you loved about it?
I think it was how bizarre and like how bizarre and
She said.
kind of like light-hearted. Well, I guess not light-hearted, but like not serious.
playful.
Joseph was.
It's more playful, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, definitely like the side characters and the main character too, like really make this part for me. The animation, the fights, the music, like everything about it is just so much better and just a lot of fun. And like the story was really, really good too with Joseph. Like he's just a very goofball, but very, you know, like down to earth, serious, and like willing to sacrifice himself for his friends. And I like how he sort of like uses his brain more than sort of like Jonathan, who just like muscle.
I'm a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman. What about you, Cole? What's like the reason why part 2 is your favorite?
If I were to choose like a very specific part that I enjoyed, it definitely would be Joseph standing on like that ferry with like Lisa and like just brain dead thinking like, wait a minute, what the fuck's going on? She was my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they did not make that face on accident.
Yeah, it was just like, oh
shit.
That was the face of a man.
I was looting my mom.
Doomed. He was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I've committed so many sins in my head.
But in general, it's definitely like all the hijinks that Joseph was up to, like fucking pulling out a Tommy gun of all things and just running away from battle.
Yeah.
Not as honorable as Wamu, that's for sure.
Definitely, yeah. Like I said earlier, like I would definitely watch a show if it continued with Joseph as a main character rather than Jonathan. But okay, well then, what is y'all's least favorite thing or part about part 2?
I think it's just how OP these fucking villains were. Like, I kept getting stressed. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know.
And then how they take him out, and it's just like, that's just a little unsatisfying, just a little.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's true. I agree with that, especially Cars too. But like that's the thing with like shonen anime and like making your villain too strong is like the stronger it is, the harder it is to like make a way to defeat them believable. Yeah. So like that's something that like I think I'm not really. I don't think they really fix that with the next. They don't really fix that with the next part. No. It's not as Deus Ex Machina, but it's still kind of like all right. But yeah, for me, I guess my least favorite thing. Oh, that's really hard. I had a thought in mind, but I forgot. I mean, I guess off the top of my head, I mean, the villains themselves aren't nearly as good in my opinion as Dio. Like separately, they're not as good, but like together, they're fun. They're a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for our review of JoJo Part 2. Very good shit. So much better than Part 1. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is, so what I want to do, a thing that I want to do is every 5 episodes, I want to talk about what we're watching. What sort of anime are we watching on our own times rather than the shows that we're watching for the podcast. So for me, I'll start. For me, recently, I finished Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. It is the fourth series in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. And one thing that I love about Yu-Gi-Oh! What they do is that what also JoJo does and Final Fantasy does and Disgaea does is that each season has its own cast of characters with their own story and stuff like that. That does enough to, you know, be like, okay, this is clearly a Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, but they do enough to make it its own thing, you know, which I really, really like. Something about that I just really love about shows like that. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal was really fucking good. I love that shit so much. Like a lot of people talk about how much they hated Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, and like the first season it is very slow and kind of stupid, but after that it gets really fucking good. Like holy shit, I did not expect a show about fucking card games to be so goddamn good. But I finished that, and actually today I finished season 3 of Kuroko's Basket.
Oh
yeah, that was it was very good. Kuroko's Basket was very fucking good. Like one thing that all the games with the Generation of Miracles were really fucking awesome and interesting to watch. But anytime it didn't deal with the Generation of Miracles, I had zero interest. It was not interesting.
That's fair.
Like in terms of the basketball games, like whenever they're outside doing their own thing, that was fine. But like any basketball games that didn't involve the Generation of Miracles, I just didn't care. But yeah, no, it was very good. And then I had just have to watch the movie that is apparently a sequel to Kurko's Basket. Kai, did you watch the movie?
I did not watch the movie. No.
Yeah, apparently there's like a movie that's like a sequel to it. So I gotta watch that before I move on to the next show. Because the next show I'm gonna watch is Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, which I already watched the first season of that, but it's been so long, and I gotta continue with season 2. And from what I watched, that was really fucking good. So I gotta finish that. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. What about you, Cole? What have you been watching?
Lately, I know this is gonna come as a surprise, but I have not really been watching anime. Other than the JoJo's that we had to.
Hey, me too. Thank God I'm not the
honestly
only one.
been watching like American Horror Story with my girlfriend. We just finished season 4. We are starting season 5 pretty soon, and it is pretty good.
Tight.
I'm not used to the gore still. I mean,
that's fair.
I think it's still pretty enjoyable. Even if it ruins my appetite from times.
Yeah,
because that's
I
when we
get that.
watch it, whenever we're having dinner.
Well, that's fine. What about you, Kai? What have you been watching, I guess, and just in general?
I too have not been watching as much anime besides JoJo, but I have been something that I got into and need to get back into is I think Killer Bee, the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one's it's kind of wild.
Oh,
shit gets
definitely.
Crazy.
Definitely.
And pretty gory.
Okay, well in that case, Cole, what's like an anime that you want to get into soon, since you haven't been watching any?
Soon? Hold on, let me check my tabs real quick. My many tabs. Let's see. What the hell was on my list? I guess one that I was thinking about getting into is... Fuck. I had one. I swear. I promise there was one. I don't remember.
Well, that's okay. While you're thinking about it, we'll talk about sort of like what's up next. So next episode is not going to be our review of part 3 of JoJo. It will be our anime recommendations of our least favorite anime. So anime that we're just like, this sucks, or it could just be anime that like people have said, oh, this is really good, you should check it out, and we checked it out and it's not as good as we think people say and stuff like that. So for me, I'll start off. My anime recommendation isn't actually, let me make sure this is the correct title real quick. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so my anime recommendation is called Blood Sea. Have you guys heard of this?
Blood Sea? I have not.
So, actually, honestly, I'll be honest, this is an anime that I haven't watched fully, but I watched a little bit, and pretty much what it is about, like, it's this show about this girl who goes around fighting demons and shit. It's just one of those kind of shows, like a high school girl fighting demons. And like the thing about this that for me makes it the worst from what I've seen is that this show is 100% just like gore for the sake of being gore. Like it's just unnecessarily violent is what I'm trying to say. Like it's just, the writing is bad, and like the main character is so stupid and like just pretty much causes people to die because she's so incompetent at her job of killing demons and shit. And like the violence is way over the top. It's just, I hate it so much. And like thankfully people who have watched the show fully also agree that like it's just really bad and unnecessarily violent and stuff like that. So that is my recommendations for all three of us, me too, to watch 3 episodes of Blood Sea. Just a really unnecessarily violent show.
Alright, I found the anime I was going to talk about that I've been looking forward to. So I've been reading like the manga for a good bit, and now it's actually being animated. It's Mirako-chan, which is basically like horror but comedy. It's like this girl who can see like a bunch of like ghosts and monsters around her, but she wants to, act normal, pretend like she doesn't see them, so that they won't bother her. Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
That's like the basic premise of it.
Well, neat. Yeah. Sounds pretty good. All right, Kai, what's your anime recommendation for your least favorite anime?
Oh, God. Can it be like a specific season?
Sure.
Okay. I mentioned this before in an earlier episode, but I believe it's season 2 of Sword Art Online, and I might get a lot of people coming for me. But like, I think this is the season where they bring in the guns, and it just gets fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
Like, it's just too much.
Okay. Oh, is it the one that's called Sword Art Online Gun Gale? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've not seen this, and yeah, it seems pretty dumb, so I'll definitely check it out.
Obviously, I haven't seen it either, so
my
next question is,
that's where I dropped off.
Should I watch the first season before I watch
the first season, that's why I said specific season, because like the first season of Sword Art Online is not bad. Like it's pretty decent, but then like, yeah, when Gun Gale happens, it's just like, y'all done made this into chaos.
Do you think Cole would be confused watching Gun Gale first without having little knowledge of SAO for the first 3 episodes, or do you think it'd be fine?
I think it'd be fine. I would probably at least like read a synopsis, but like it's pretty much, you can follow it along, you know what I mean?
Okay. All right, well, cool. So we got Blood Sea and Gun Gale. What about you, Cole? What's your least favorite anime recommendation?
So before we started this session, I was talking to DJ because I had no idea like what anime to recommend, because if I don't like an anime, I immediately drop it. But I suddenly remembered this one anime after like I was checking through my tabs just now, and it's called Rent a Girlfriend.
Oh my god.
Have you seen it?
Oh my god. I've not seen it, but like, it's just everywhere. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but my buddy Gerardo would always recommend it to me, like, have you seen Rent a Girlfriend yet? Like, no.
I do not. Someone recommended it to me on Facebook, and I was like, okay, I'll take a look. And I watched like nearly over halfway through the season. And I just pretty much just fucking hated it.
Is it like just a trashy slice of life romance show, pretty much?
I mean, in a way, yes. It's just the characters that I hate so much.
That's like, fair.
I just do not like them at all. You will see soon when you watch it. Especially the main character. He is... Ugh. I do not like that guy. He is so spineless.
He is very spineless.
He is so spineless. But yeah, that's my recommendation. Rent a Girlfriend.
All right, so those are our 3 recommendations for our least favorite anime: Blood Sea, Rent a Girlfriend, and Gun Gale SAO season. Okay, so tight. And that's pretty much it for this episode. Thank you guys very much for watching. You can check out, let us know your thoughts about JoJo Part 2 and some of the things that you like or don't like about JoJo and stuff like that, even though JoJo's fucking amazing, so there's probably not a whole lot you can say. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us check us out on Spotify, where we upload the podcast an hour early at around 1 p.m. because the video version comes out at 2 p.m. Follow us on all the social medias and stuff that I'll have linked down below. And yeah, anything you guys want to say real quick? Any final words? Goddamn right. Actually, you know what? Before we end, I should have asked this earlier. Kai, what is your prediction for Part 3?
Well, obviously, it's got to do with our baby boy in Japan, who might not be a baby boy at this point. Who knows?
No.
But I do think... I hope that the Stone Mass will come back here, but who fucking knows? At least for me.
Who knows?
What the fuck do I know? You know?
I don't know. You're just gonna have to find out. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you in the not watching, listening. Not really a whole lot to look at. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.